All right, so it's time for the September book haul, but all of these books that I've got here I purchased in August. Me, the wife, and the dog, we loaded up in the car and we were down in Bend, Oregon for 2 weeks. I got books all along the way, on the way there and the way back, so we'll start with some of the books I got in a Montana bookstore that's kind of a ways from our house, but it's always fun to go there on our way through. So I got Robert R. McCammon's Bethany's Sin. This is the Pocket Books edition of this one. Got a lady with a horse on the cover there. The original Ballantine cover has a better cover art in my opinion, but that one will do for now. Then I got John Shirley. This is Camus of Cadazar, Black Hole of Kairos, something like that. I've kind of learned about John Shirley a bit through Matt at Science Fiction Reads, and a lot of his books seem to be kind of collectible. You don't see them very often, so I grab those whenever I can. Theodore Sturgeon, Some of Your Blood. This is kind of a later printing here from Ballantine. I'd like to get the original paperback at some point. Then we have a Frederick Pohl I was missing, In the Problem Pit. And I think this is a collection of short stories when I looked this up. This is from Bantam Books. And we'll just look here real quick. Yeah, it's a collection of short stories. This is one that I'm missing, trying to get all of the Frederick Pohl paperbacks. Then James Blish, The Night Shapes. Now, this bookstore, all of these books were between $2 and $3. A lot of times they don't even look inside and they just charge $2 each. Damon Knight, Off Center. This is an ace double. On one side, Off Center, and the other side is The Rithian Terror by Damon Knight. I usually don't go out of my way to collect ace doubles, but when I find them in good condition like this for a couple bucks, then I go ahead and grab them. Then we've got A World by the Tale. This is a collection of, it's an anthology here edited by John W. Campbell. And this one is from Curtis Books. This was also titled Analog 3. And you can see the stories that are in that one. Another anthology. This is 12 Great Classics of Science Fiction edited by Groff Conklin. And this is a gold medal book, so Fawcett. Avram Davidson, Masters of the Maze. This one's in pretty good condition except for a very faded spine where you can't even read the title of the book. Wallace West, The Memory Bank. This is an Airmont book. This one was a little beat up, but I grabbed it anyways. A. Van Vogt, The Weapon Makers. This is one of those smaller ace books. I didn't have it, so I'd like to get one in better condition someday. But this will do for now. And then a horror book, I got James Herbert Fluke, and this is from Signet. Got the embossed cover. Kind of nice. And then the last one I got from this store in Montana was The Patchwork Girl by Larry Niven. This was one of the few Nivens that I've been kind of on the lookout for. I was missing this one. This one's from Ace Science Fiction. Okay. Then on the way through, we stayed the night in Walla Walla, Washington. I went to a bookstore there. Put the name of it up here because I don't remember it offhand. It was amazing. We only had like an hour to go through the store and it was stocked with science fiction. I would have loved to spend more time there. I kind of ran out of time, kind of really quickly looked through the last sections of books, and I would have loved to gone back the next day, but we had to kind of get on the move. We got John Walter Williams, Voice of the Whirlwind from Tor Books. And this is kind of the sequel to, I think it's Hardwired. So glad to get that. I was missing that one. It's got a really nice embossed cover on it. And then a couple from Michael Coney, Michael Greatrix Coney. We got Fang Gnome, the Fang Gnome here. And this is from Signet. Really happy to find that. And then another here from Coney is King of the Sceptered Island. And usually you see Michael G. Coney. Here they went with his full middle name, Greatrix, which kind of a cool name. I think he's a little bit on the fantasy side, but really liked his writing so far, everything I've read. Desolation Road by Ian MacDonald. This is one I've been wanting to read for a really long time. I believe it's got a lot to do with Mars and a colony there. I'd like to read that at some point. Stellar 4. This is an anthology by Judy Lynn Del Rey. I think I have the first 4 of them now. And there's the stories that are in this anthology. Fireship by Joan D. Vinge. This is from Dell. And someone put a little cute sticker on the back. I'm just going to leave that. Painted text block. I really loaded up here, and all of the books at this store were really reasonably priced. We got Eclipse Penumbra by John Shirley. I had seen very little John Shirley in all my book shopping, and on this trip I found a bunch. And like this one was $2. You really can't go wrong there. And this is from Questar. Other Worlds, Other Gods. This is from Avon Books. This is kind of an anthology of religious-based science fiction that I think Robin from Bookspin read this and did a review, and it really piqued my interest. And let's see, here's the collection of stories in this one. Tales of the Riverworld by edited by Philip Jose Farmer. I'd recently just finished up the whole Riverworld saga. This is other people writing in the Riverworld universe. There's a list of the authors. This is a Questar book. So I'd really be interested to see what some other authors do inside of this universe that Philip Jose Farmer created. Samuel R. Delany, Stars in My Pocket Like Grains of Sand. And this is from Bantam Books. This is a really large novel. Another from John Walter Williams, Night Moves. And this is from Tor. This story was kind of the highlight of the trip as far as what I got there. Striped Holes by Damien Broderick. I really am curious to read Broderick. I hear he's can be difficult, a challenging author to read, but I'm really intrigued to try something of his soon. We're still going from that store in Walla Walla. Evangeline Walton, The Island of the Mighty. And this is a Valentine adult fantasy that I was missing. And this one, $3.50. Most of the books were priced very reasonable. Diane L. Paxton, Lady of Light. This is a timescape that I was missing. It does have some tape or paint on the bottom, and I was kind of trying to get it off. I decided to just leave it for now. But grab that. And then another timescape here. Donald Kingsbury, Courtship Right. And yeah, so I got a few more timescapes out of this store that I was missing. And then, of course, I found Star of the Unborn. This is the third time I found this book in the wild. This one's in pretty good shape. It is a little kind of torn here down at the bottom. But other than that, it's got a very kind of clean, nice spine, clean overall. I couldn't believe I found this. And they were asking $3 for it, so went ahead and grabbed that. Okay, now went to another store. Okay, so when we got to Bend, I knew there was a couple bookstores, and I was hoping for the best, but they didn't look like they were going to be that great. And the one was okay. Now, the one that looked kind of the nicest, I only got 2 books from them. I'm trying to remember which ones. I think it was definitely this Daw book number 111, Brian M. Stableford, The Paradise Game. And I'll put the name of the bookstore up here that I got that one from. And there was one other, I think it was this one, this Avon Nelson Bond, No Time Like the Future. They basically had a whole section of vintage paperbacks, all bagged up, very expensive. Some of them completely overpriced, but I managed to find 2 books at that store. Now, there was another bookstore that's kind of in a basement of a building. This one was pretty great. It was a dusty, kind of dingy bookstore, just like I like them. They had a fairly good selection of science fiction. The prices were really good, and I think it was something like if you bought 4 books, you got one free, or 5 books, something like that. So I ended up going here twice. I got Theodore Sturgeon, The Cosmic Rap. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it, The Cosmic Rap. Been looking for this one for a while, Brian M. Ball, Time Pivot. I just love that weird, bizarre cover. This is from Ballantine Books. Groff Conklin, Possible Worlds of Science Fiction. This is from Berkeley. This is an anthology with some pretty good stories inside of there. And then Philip Jose Farmer, Night of Light. This is from Berkeley Books. As on a Darkling Plain by Ben Bova. This is Dell, science fiction. A Martian Odyssey and Other Great Stories by Stanley G. Weinbaum. I looked, and most of these stories are in the best of Stanley G. Weinbaum, but there was a couple in here that weren't in that collection. So, Robert Silverberg, Collision Course. I didn't have this edition. This is from Ace Science Fiction here. And then the wife, she was digging around. She found Citadels of Mystery. This is L. Sprague de Camp and Catherine C. de Camp co-authoring a nonfiction, and this is kind of interesting. I might get around to reading some of their nonfiction at some point. So that was basically all I had found in Bend. I went to some thrift stores even, and there just didn't seem to be any other science fiction in that town. But in the neighboring town of Redmond, we were going through one day and decided to stop in, and we went to a thrift store, and we found some amazing books. We ended up going to 3 more, or 3 total, and the selection in Redmond at the thrift stores were amazing. The first one we went to, someone had definitely dropped off a bunch of Brian Aldiss. So here we have Galaxies Like Grains of Sand from Signet Books. Enemies of the System. This is from Avon. You'll see a few that have this livery here. They were all in pretty good shape, a little bit of a bend in some of them. New Arrivals, Old Encounters, another one from Avon. And all of these were either $1 or $2 each from all of these thrift stores. Earthworks, which is one I've been looking for a while. I do like a different cover of that one, but that'll work for now. Cordwainer Smith, The Instrumentality of Mankind from Del Rey Books. Between this and the best of, it kind of completes all of Cordwainer Smith's future history. Samuel R. Delany, Triton from Bantam Books. And the last one we got from this thrift store was The Tomorrow People by Judith Merrill. Okay, then the next thrift store we went to, found a bunch more. We got Roger Zelazny and Robert Sheckley, a Farce to be Reckoned With. And this is a Bantam book. Be very interesting to see what these two authors could do collaborating together. The Flying Eyes by J. Hunter Hawley. I just read a J. Hunter Hawley this month and really enjoyed it, so this might be my next J. Hunter Hawley that I read. Michael Soriata, The Ultimate Bike Path. My wife just kind of insisted we grab this one. It's like bike-related science fiction. Couple things that I enjoy there. I saw this copy of Game of Thrones from Bantam Books, and I think this book ended up costing like $1, and it is the first printing paperback here, the full number line with like the original artwork on it. So, and it seemed to be pretty unread, so I grabbed that to go into my collection. Larry Niven, End Space. This is a big, thick collection of short stories, from what I can tell. John Brunner, Man Shape. This was a DAW I was missing from Brunner. And then I got a couple larger format books here. We got Ian M. Banks, The Algebraists. And this is from Orbit Books. This is a big one, but it sounds amazing. I'd like to read this at some point. And then they had the Vericonium by M. John Harrison. This is kind of a larger one from Bantam with the deckled pages and all of that. And all those books were, like I said, about $2 each. Okay, the last thrift store we went to in Redmond, got a few more. Got Nanotech. This is this series that Jack Dan and Garner Dozois kind of put together. There's a ton of different themed. Here's kind of a list of some of the themed anthologies they did. There's more than that. And whenever I see these, I definitely pick them up now. And then I got a tour double that has Arthur C. Clarke's A Meeting with Medusa. And on the other side, Kim Stanley Robinson, Green Mars. And I assume this is kind of like a short story version of his famous novel. Another Kim Stanley Robinson, Ice Henge from Ace. A anthology edited by Jack L. Chalker. This is Hotel Andromeda by Ace Science Fiction. Got a really cool cover for a modern book there. And pretty good list of authors in this one as well. Another Robert Silverberg I was missing, Hot Sky at Midnight. Interesting cover on this one. This is from Bantam. David Brin, Otherness. This is a collection of short stories from David Brin. Really enjoyed everything I've read from Brin. And then another anthology edited by Roger Zelazny. This is Wheel of Fortune by Avon Science Fiction. And show you which stories are in this one. There's quite a few here, so got that. And all those as well. And a couple more there. So I've got a lot more anthologies. And then when we left the Bend area, we were going up through the Tri-Cities. I met up with a friend there, and I saw there was this bookstore called Xenophile, Bibliopole, and Armorer Chronopolis. Very interesting store. The owner was a collector for 40 years. Basically built a store to put his collection in there. One of the most amazing collections of hardbacks I have seen anywhere, from science fiction, fantasy, all other genres, and the other half of the store was all nonfiction, a lot having to do with nuclear engineering and stuff like that. This town of Redmond, Washington is right near the Hanford site, which, if you look that up, it had a lot to do with the Manhattan Project, and it's still a super fun site that they're cleaning up. Now, since he was a collector, the books were priced accordingly. I did find 4 books. I was going through the store for about 2 hours. Could have spent 2 days there. But I got Utopia 14 by Kurt Vonnegut. This is actually an alternate name for Player Piano. And this is from Bantam Books, the original paperback of this one, in really, really good shape. And then I got a book club of Electric Forest by Tanith Lee. And I should state this costs $18. There was not a lot of deals at this store. This I got for $5 though. This book club of Tanith Lee's Electric Forest. This was $5. And then I got Who Made Stevie Cry by Michael Bishop. Now the book's in really good shape. The dust jacket has a little bit of wear on it. And this is Arkham House, first edition of this one. I have quite a few Michael Bishop hardcovers. Had the price still in the dust jacket of $16. I paid $12 for this one. And then the last book I got from there was The Pastel City by M. John Harrison. And I paid $7 for this one, and it would probably be worth a fortune. But it is an ex-library. It doesn't have a lot of the stickers and stamps on the dust jacket. The dust jacket's actually in good shape. But there is a stamp on the top of the book. And then on the last page, you can see where someone ripped out the card pocket. And I think there's like a stamp inside of here from the public library there. But this is a true first edition of this one, and it's in pretty good shape, so I was pretty happy with that for $7. So that was kind of rounded out the whole trip. Got quite a few books, some authors I'd been looking for a long time, so it was a very successful vacation and some book shopping on the side. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.